because if you have a new type of data set, and if you have new types of tasks, it might be very difficult to anticipate what you actually need interactively in order to solve a specific task you haven't seen yet. Right?
Yeah.
So therefore, it might be much easier to say, okay, you have the data set, you also have all the tasks, the queries, whatever, and then you can start and build your thing. Whereas even if I give you a few examples, then you would need to anticipate the wealth, the possible universe of queries, which already for LSC is sometimes difficult when you come up with a new way of phrasing things and say, oh yeah, but this is only answerable because of this type of information I never considered. And even though it was always there, nobody ever looked at it because it was never used. So therefore, I would really emphasize the asynchronous part of this for new stuff. And if we want to do interactive things, then they should be reasonably close to things people are already familiar with, right? Because we see with VBS and LSC how high the barrier of entry already is.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
if we then say, okay, we're now going to do something that is more complicated than this, or even at least more new, there's completely clean slate. And the people at this table will not have a lot of time to actually participate in this, because because everybody here is involved in actually building the back end of this, so there's not going to be participating
But
teams.
I mean, also you are
here.
the TPC chair, you know.
This too, well, but this is an independent problem. But even saying, look, everybody here is probably out of participating because of conflict of interest and because we might already know the ground truth because we have been there. So that already cuts out a whole swath of people who already have the experience with this sort of stuff.
So it has to be easy.
It has to have well, the task can be difficult to do, but it should not have it should not be difficult to attempt.
So how would you design the asynchronous part? It would still be interactive, and we would still give rules of time limit, or
I would essentially have tasks where we do not specify very closely how people solve them,
Yeah.
and just do the classic. Look, here's a bunch of queries. Here's how we're going. Here's the format you're supposed to present your results in. Here's the metrics we're going to use. You have 3 months.
Yeah.
Go.
And you have a limit. Like, let's say you do an interactive task. You have a limit of 3 minutes per task.
Well, not even necessarily, right? Because you can. Dragfit also did this. You can just say you have to specify how you
long?
did it. And then we say if you have a thing that is completely automated that does not require any human input, then it goes into one bucket. If you have a thing that was human-machine collaboration, it goes into another bucket. And then you're supposed to report. Of course, we cannot precisely validate this, but you're supposed to report the time, the number of rounds, or whatever is applicable for your approach. Again, this needs to be somewhat broad because people might have very different approaches to do this. But ultimately, everybody just generates a rank ordered list of results or whatever fits the actual
or the answer if we do question answering, right? That would be easy.
Or a string,
Yeah.
or an integer value if it or something like this, and then we will evaluate this in a maybe fully automated. If we just have a ground truth we can compare it to, maybe a judged, and then we do all this pooling stuff.
You probably have to do a pooling because the data's going to be too big.
I mean, for some, I can think of some types of tasks. So, for example, if you, and this is something I alluded to yesterday. I'm already having sneakily repositioning stuff all around the house. There are some things, and I'm not going to go into more details because otherwise I'm going to give away the task.
Was that cacao powder?
No, not the cacao powder.
Not the chocolate?
Also not the chocolate.
The banana?
I mean, that might also be a type of where was the thing kind of task.
Yeah.
Because then there is we actively interacted with the thing. There's also some things you're probably not going to interact with, but that if you look back at the video, you will notice that it was there, but you probably haven't paid attention to it.
Yeah.
And now everybody's looking
Yeah,
at
yeah,
it.
of course.
I'm talking about.
I'm extremely bad in that. You
I'm
can
gonna-
replace it now and I
Yes.
didn't notice.
I'm going to tell you eventually, right? But essentially, okay. Tell me all the locations where that thing was across the time, right? And then it's somewhat automatable.
And you've got a record, right?
I have notes.
No, that's not. That's good enough.
That's very interesting for this virtual forensic stuff that Zen and colleagues do. At Netherlands Forensic Institute, they have this virtual forensic lab and so on. And I think this is kind of going a little bit also touching sister communities, I have to say.
I mean, the other thing is you have the receipts from shopping, so you know how much stuff we bought of which things. So,
Yes.
Oh.
That's also. That's
You should
also
record them, yes.
That's also.
Capture them.
Photocopy of them all. Or
Yeah.
picture of them all.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Okay.
The very long one.
But
yes.
with the video camera. That would be interesting.
What the
No,
stuff
with
you
the
bought
camera,
today
because
is
then
not
you
on.
have it as a hidden
I have
ground
it
truth.
on the camera.
Yes.
If it's
True.
not on the
Yeah.
camera,
Okay,
then
yeah,
because
you're
you-
right.
That is a very nice hackathon task. The diet. Generate a recipe book.
Yeah,
That's a simple hackathon
yeah,
task. to be
and I
finished,
think
you
this is what I meant
That
before.
might
Like
also be
there
a
is
challenge
work
to us, though,
on.
because that can be
That can be
run through,
evaluated,
right?
yeah,
We can
yeah.
evaluate
We have
this.
to, so we actually have to make our own recipe book again.
Yeah.
After
What
this.
what I
with
what I
details.
would also like to do, what I think would be interesting more for maybe the computer vision focused people, is if I brought the camera, right, and I'm gonna take some pictures later, and we can release some of those pictures, but not others, and then say, okay, what did the camera see? Reconstruct the image based on, you have a bunch of other cameras, you can reconstruct the scene because at least much of the environment doesn't change all that much, so you can probably generate a very accurate 3D reconstruction of the environment. And I'm just gonna, you get a few training images to learn the properties of the camera. Right? It's like, okay, what was the focal length? What are the sensor properties? Yada yada yada. And then we have the images, and then I can even do a just pixel based. How accurate was the reconstruction?
I like that.
Yeah.
It's great.
I also brought a thermal camera that we can.
Yeah, you
so
said that.
It's very low res,
Yeah.
and it only does pictures. But we can run around with this and
Yeah.
take some pictures and see if that gives something interesting.
Can I just like, I'm thinking about another one that we did once, and it's funny. So you have Google Street View for most of the cities, you know, like, but in Amsterdam, many years ago, we started thinking with the city, when I say city, Chief Technology Office and Data Lab, it's a bit risky, you know, to use commercial products because at some point they even change the terms of service, you know, or they start charging insanely high, you know. So Amsterdam has own panorama vehicles, like many cities. You capture them with moving cars or even from the boats, you know, like there are cameras mounted there and you kind of stitch them into omnidirectional panorama. So interesting, we used it for some things, aside that you need to anonymize it properly and so on, but we used it for obvious stuff that our community would use, detecting objects in a public space, monitoring state of assets, you know, like in garbage we even did and so on and so on. But the catch is, so now comes interesting thing. So in a big organization like a municipality of that size, you have 50 to 80 departments, you know, like, and they have all product owners and so on, managers basically, and if they find it interesting enough, you know, like to incorporate this into their pipelines, then, you know, it can be expanded and so on, and it can actually save costs on many things. So the city organized once a hackathon. I was in a jury, and that was really interesting. So on the first day come people from different kind of departments, and one is basically monitoring state of the advertisements in a public space. It's kind of you have to pay a tax to put anything in a public space as an advertisement. Apparently, in many cities, people just like hang something,
Right.
hoping nobody's gonna see. And there are even strict regulations on, for example, light pollution. You know, like if you put a light symbol there, well, it may be preventing people from sleeping. You know, like and so on. So anyhow, the head of department came and he was really like, hey, look, there are these panoramas, but we have no idea what they can be used for, and we are totally willing to invest this much and this much. You know, like if we see kind of evidence that you can reliably detect automatically all the advertisements in public space. So there comes another person that says, oh, if you can show us this and this. So there were like 5-6 people that came, and for 2 days people were busy really, and actually they were even kind of sometimes describing it very vaguely, but they were like really, hey, there must be something that we are not seeing there, because otherwise we would be probably using it. If you find something useful in it, when it comes to advertisement and so on, please also let us know. So where I'm going with this one, we have this data now, so for a hackathon I think it would be handy to give some guidelines, kind of give some ideas. Hey, look, invite some people from our community that have been working on food like Tatseng, Chongwak, and so on and so on. They kind of say, hey, look, this is what community has been doing, some people that were doing this, could be in this direction, doesn't have to be the same, you know, like, and then give some other hints what people use it for. Recipes, you know, like there is this 1 million recipe, you know. We attempted to cook Asian food in Ireland, but I'm quite sure and it tasted great, but it's probably not the original ingredients. So what did we get?
Close enough.
Close enough, yeah, but close enough. That's really great. What did you replace with what? You know? So I think that kind of stuff, and then kind of that's hackathon. And I think for a grand challenge, at least I think we need to keep some interaction, because if you look what most of the people do, like in NeurIPSy, Cyclears, computer vision conferences and so on, it's mostly fully automatic stuff. And this is like sports event. It's fun. It's I think that's some kind of joy that we are bringing to the table of a conference, any conference.
Absolutely, but then again, interactive has a high barrier of entry, so it should not be exclusive.
Yeah, I think what's coming out from the conversation is there's an asynchronous task and there's a synchronous task.
Yeah.
The asynchronous task is going to be lower barrier to entry. Any student in any university that can get his hands on 20 terabytes or her hands on 20 terabytes of disk space can process a data set, can process 24 queries or whatever we decide to do, send in results, pool relevant judgments, submission back, whatever, answers back, results back. And those that want to do the interactive element will come to the actual conference definitely, right? And they will take part in an interactive grand challenge, which is part of the conference. That's why they asked us to do it, right? They wanted the VBS and the LSC in
And they need more interaction.
Yeah.
Like we forgot that one. Like that was the thing. Multimodality, agents, interaction. That's like basically 3 cornerstones.
So if we take it back to the simplest thing, there's a ad hoc and there's a Q&A session. And then we lead to synchronous challenge, which is ad hoc and Q&A, maybe something else thrown in there, people know well in advance. And that's the first year. And next year we use the same data set, do it again with a grander set of challenges for people. That does look at their recipe creation or whatever it is we decide they want to do. But we get it kicked off where we can show the success by having, what is success? 10
understanding.
Yeah,
That's success.
I mean, ideally this would then also grow over time, because there's a lot of data that, well, there's a lot of data augmentation that can be done. So ideally what I would like to see at some point, which should be very doable for a large fraction of time. So most of us are going to be visible by at least one camera most of the time. We have a trajectory that can be reconstructed just based on the sensor streams that should be on this. So you should not only be able to have the position of every person in time, you could also do the full pose reconstruction, have all the skeleton control points. So you essentially can back project the people into the space, how they were posing, and then do this for all the action-y things, interacty things. Even if people want to do robot-y things, right? You at least have a armature, how did people interact with stuff. But this is not necessarily very difficult from a technology, or at least from a science point of view, right? So methods to do this exist. It is just going to be work. to actually do this.
But is that
So we will probably
your
not.
brand challenge then?
Yeah, so we're not going to release this in February with a high fidelity annotated skeleton postings, because even if somebody wanted to do this, it will just take some time to
But
develop.
wouldn't this be something someone could do for the hackathon?
Yes, something like this. I would
But
totally put something
bear in
like this
mind-
on the list.
The
Yeah.
hackathon
I mean-
focus was healthcare /
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, but even
I mean, if you do
We
post-
do too, right?
Post-reconstruction is a number of healthcare applications. That's
Motion of somebody, motion of an elderly person around the home.
Yeah.
Is social interaction healthcare?
We need to
Mental
start knocking
health.
people over on some ground.
I don't
Sanity checking.
think you wanna go there.
Social interaction.
yes, no.
Meaning, think of us, you know, like.
But I guess for the
Evaluate the average sanity over
for
time.
for the hackathon, I would even keep it more open and say, look,
yeah.
this is the broad topic. These are some possible things we have come up with that
Yes.
we think would be interesting. You are supposed to, if you want to participate, sign up, propose a team,
Right.
propose a task, and probably we will just accept everything that is sensible,
We'd be happy to.
and as long as we have the capacity, and then our hackathon chairs are going to figure out all the rest, and possibly maybe we can get somebody to sponsor a best hackathon or something.
Sponsored by ACM Multimedia.
I mean, one thing I was thinking also, I mean, for this tutorial on XR search, one insight was basically there's work on mixed reality search engines like they do at Basel, but there is no way of evaluating them. So
That's
this
fair.
could also be one thing. Like, I mean, I was thinking you have a lot of things happening in the kitchen. So you could be in a real kitchen where you have items that you could use as query objects.
Mm-hmm.
So this could also be an exploration of like how would you set up a comparative interactive environment in which you test XR or MR search, right?
Mhm.
Which is really something that's not there yet.
Totally.
Which is interesting enough because there's commercial interest in actually building such
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and it's very wild west these days when there's
Yeah.
people trying all these sort of things. It's very niche at this point in time, but ubiquitous computing has been a buzzword for a while, and is cooking
Yeah.
up every once in a while. So I would not be surprised if there would be more commercial interest within the next few years to really try and put products into people's
Yeah.
hands. I don't know to what degree these products are driven by needs, or to what degree this is driven by what can we currently actually make work.
Yeah, of course. It's also like always like having a new feature for every release of another generation of devices,
Yeah.
of course, because just saying, okay, there is now few 100,000 pixels more again. At some point, it's not the most catchy argument. So you
We've
need
run out of things you can
Yeah,
perceive,
yeah.
right? So
Okay, so what's the next steps? Somebody writes down what we came up with, and we have a discussion.
Everyone is document. Everything is documented.
well, I mean, everything is yes, everything is.
Another suggestion, maybe, just a small one, to spice it up. Could we start thinking of spice it up, actually?
Now we're getting going.
There was this article, you know, like speaking of this pseudo-psychology, you know, like about organizational theories and so on. Have you ever seen a?
Well, you told me about this.
You take a sheet of paper, you literally salt it, you smash it, throw it away, and it reduces your stress. It was very well known in some journals of dubious science. So this one, yeah, actually unbelievable, but okay. So what I was thinking, you mentioned that I just read an article, I couldn't believe it. It's actually some very well known names they made. So putting a pepper on me maybe reduces my stress. But do the salt. And then, anyway, and for yourself. So what I was aiming at, somebody mentioned that we are going to be familiar with the data set and a process. People around us also a little bit more, you know, like because you tell colleagues, friends, you know. for a hackathon, maybe it could be a good idea to assign to each team that applies, and we ask people to apply beforehand, a shepherd, somebody who's this or that way involved. And we kind of also organize it as a competition, meaning that shepherd is going to be guiding the team. You see where I'm going, and helping them make the best out of what they want, not really telling them what to do, but kind of trying to squeeze. I see some fronts, probably not a good idea. I was thinking, let's say Werner takes team A from Tsinghua, and Kahal takes a team from...
You're doing it like
Yeah, so
American Idol or so. Like
Yeah, no, this is
Something like that, yeah. Why not?
No,
it's an interesting approach. I like the idea. I'm a bit worried about its implementation because many people on this table are going to be very busy these days, especially during the time of that hackathon.
Yeah, we won't have any. Actually, half the people here won't have any spare time during that hackathon. Actually, you won't either.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
Because it's going to be in a weekend, is it?
we should ideally have some time during that hackathon because if
Stupid
we
idea,
are busy running around and something went horribly wrong.
Well, in most cases, it's the general chairs that will be busy handing out whiskies and stuff. So you guys should actually have an enjoyable weekend, so you'll have time to do stuff.
Well, I guess before the hackathon, it could be in the preparation phase. It could be light involvement, and I guess someone needs to be there anyway during the hackathon. So I think this shepherding idea could work. I'm not sure because you said putting it more like a competition. I don't think. I mean, there might be very different ideas, so you can't really compare them. So I
more of a jury kind of
Jury,
thing.
Yeah. You see co-chairs will only be really busy in June, right?
But
Chasing down 1,000 missing reviews.
Oh man, program and all the things.
The program stuff will happen in July, right? Which no other. You'll have lots of time.
So much time. Not know what to do with
You will have
all
4
that time.
weeks during the conference.
Okay, remember, there's one thing we have to keep in mind. Whatever we decide to do for the hackathon, poor Vincent will be under pressure to replicate it next year. So it rolls on.
Yeah.
Not entirely convinced that this is our immediate problem because we need to make it first. We need to make it work the first time.
You need to make it attractive.
and then you learn lessons from it.
okay, good.
But I think
Finally.
some kind of
But if I'm
reconstruction,
working,
not
it's gonna
data
go.
organization, make it very flexible.
Yeah.
You can propose some health-related topics like recipe.
Recipe generation.
Sanity checking. I don't know. If you can evaluate, if you have ways to evaluate, public mental health, can you apply them and give people sanity ratings and see whether there's a decline over the days of the workshop? No, whatever you want, right?
Anything left to decline.
What is also interesting is all these. If you look at what people do with this tracking of elderly homes, I was mentioning, are people, for example, classic question, did they fall? Okay, that's not happening here, hopefully. So far nobody fell, I think. but the thing
Kyle said it's a dry house, that's why nobody fell so far.
Or we're just gonna strew more banana peels and stuff.
But another one, for example, that they were catching, and there were commercial products also like on it. Are people hydrated enough? Did they take enough of this? Did they take enough of that? And so on and
This
so on.
is like what's going to be really useful for elderly people independent living.
Now we are hitting all these subjects somehow.
They may have those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So the data set's really useful for that. So that kind of a challenge is nice.
Totally. Maybe we get in touch with the
I have
case
a
and
company,
people.
that does that as well. Not I have.
I mean,
we work with a company that does that. But they'd be really interested in sponsoring something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do those
Case,
proxy tasks.
Yeah.
This is the drug I'm supposed to take to keep
Nice,
me alive.
that would be
So
nice.
did I get my level of
Your vital dose of caffeine.
But it could be hackathon. Hackathon, yeah. What do we agree on the grand challenge? I'm still not sure.
Grand challenge, asynchronous plus interactive.
Did
So
we get
asynchronous tasks plus
variety
interactive.
of nutritional
Interactive as well
ingredients?
as
Allergy warnings.
known item and ad hoc.
We have to at least get 2 years out of this
Yes.
data set before making it
Okay.
work.
I think that's the
Bigger and longer.
Yeah.
With bigger SD cards.
bigger, more everything. I think this is something that is on the agenda for later in the week to see what if we had infinite time and infinite money.
Yeah. Well, this was done on a massive budget. That's why we're at the end of the world. We had done this in Wicklow beside Dublin, short drive, access to more facilities close by, it would have been double the price. So we had a rough envelope of 10,000.
Yes, and I mean these things are
already, right?
These things are nice. They're not. If we had designed this from scratch, this would look different. But
then I would have had to have 20,000. It would have had to put together something. Yeah. We happen to have these.
No, if we had designed this from scratch, you're talking quite a bit more. But
yeah, but
we can always ask.
We could get these police body cams and so on.
We
they
talked
would
about,
be worse.
strapping these on here, right? We talked about this.
This was the first. This was the first idea we had. Just do the harness. Do the harness.
Yeah.
The problem with the harness, if I have the camera here, and I do this, right? I can already move my eyes, and you will have no idea where I'm looking at. But at least if I move my head, at least you see what I'm looking at.
If somebody builds a tracking camera,
I mean, honestly, they're like fairly compact sensors for eye tracking. I mean, not like the one we have in the other room.
No, but I mean, there's things that could be done
if Luca has a lot of time.
If it's feasible. Well, I'm not an electrical engineer, so this probably if
everybody
actually need to do this.
Electrical engineer.
Glasses
There are a few others. Think electrical.
no, informatics.
It can all be
done. But I'm electrical.
To be fair, even
I'm not.
Like version, as long as there are two people sort of facing each other, there should be a way to reconstruct
this is definitely also some data augmentation thing I would want to do, right? If I look at you, can I reconstruct based on your feed where your point of attention was at any point in time?
Exactly.
Given that
that can be such a cool task.
Yeah.
Actually, estimation from another person's another point of view.
Yeah.
That
Speaking of which,
really
Klaus, I think
Yeah.
your camera is also a little bit high.
Is it?
Can we reconstruct everything?
Can we just like do one thing, because
Yeah,
Klaus
that
now
would be
asked me what did we finally conclude. So actually
No. For
It's
the
interesting.
challenge,
For a
I mean.
challenge. So
Yeah.
just like for a catch,
Not
and
conclude,
also
agree.
For, basically, maybe it becomes a task. Can we now summarize? This is what we think now. Grand challenge is roughly going to be, just as a summary. If somebody can kind of repeat, this grand challenge, this is going to be hackathon.
Better.
Bit high.
Still a little bit high, but the screen's not on, so I can't.
So guys,
Yeah.
summary coming.
So
Everybody look at Luca.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that for the actual challenge, we can have several subtasks that. So I mean, first to Drax, the interactive thing, that stuff is happening there on site, and the more traditional, you send us results, we're going to tell you how well you did. Non-interactive stuff. For the former, it will probably have to be reasonably similar to the two interactive challenges we've already been doing. So have some instance retrieval and have some question answering with a human in the loop.
And we would like to attract VPS teams and LSC teams, right?
Yes.
And we would do judging maybe with a few people from here.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
from a setup point of view, from an infrastructure point of view, also how the tasks are designed, how the tasks are presented, it would be the exact same thing as VPS and LSC.
So and then it could later go to the VPS and LSC, but for the first time next year, it will be at ACM Multimedia.
Push this
Yeah.
into one of those,
Yeah.
possibly, which makes the communication to the people reasonably easy. I mean, what we might want to do anyway is just write a brief. If you have never heard of VPS and LSC, this is how it works, kind of document. which we're missing anyway. So
Right,
onboarding for new
Yeah.
teams is hard because
Yes.
you essentially have to chronologically read a decade of
right.
publications to see how the stuff actually works. But that would be the interactive one. And then there's a bunch of logistics we need to figure out, but this is essentially just work. So this is not difficult.
And for non-interactive, we could do almost the same tasks, but asynchronously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus more stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Even
so
more.
some
I
of
mean,
the things that we've said that we can actually evaluate that are different type of tasks, as in reconstruct this view from this point. So I actually took the picture, but I'm not showing you the picture.
Also, point of
the-
view, like region of interest / salient objects, eye gaze
That might be-
from another person's
That
point
might
of
be
view.
difficult to evaluate because we don't have the ground
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
So this is more of a hackathon kind of thing.
Yeah. Or
Because there we can
Preparing
look,
it
there
for
we can
future
look
years,
at it
yeah.
and see if it is reasonable. But if two teams submit something similar, we don't have a
Yeah.
precise metric to see how good is this. Because otherwise somebody would actually need
Yeah.
to have the eye tracker. Right. So these would be the so that definitely the question answering the instance retrieval stuff in both tracks.
Yeah.
And the non-interactive would have additional tracks for reconstruction-y things that you could not reasonably do interactively. That also would not necessarily need human input because it's more of an algorithmic.
Like recipes or something that we could
Yes,
find.
regenerate this recipe.
Yeah.
Regenerate this schedule for this person.
Right. Yeah.
Count the number of this person did this type or on this day this kind of action was performed.
Right.
This sort of thing. This is still sort of kind of question answering. I would really want to do the visual reconstruction thing for the also so the computer vision people also have an interesting task. Things like that, right?
So just thinking about the reconstruction, maybe something we should do while we're here is taking measurements of all the rooms as a ground truth.
Yes. Do we have
Is there a blueprint of the house?
Well,
I doubt I'll be able to.
I mean-
I might get measuring tape on Friday morning.
Yeah.
Kapal, that must be if they were selling it. There must be a floor plan. In the Netherlands, at
I'm
least
just
you'll
thinking
find
what
for all
happened.
houses.
I'm not
I'm
sure.
gonna
We had
have
a
to
furniture
say,
also.
Thank you for the week in your home. It was wonderful. Have you got the floor plans and the measurements? Already I'm thinking, oh, today's going to be out there with all their beautiful furniture in it. They ask for any more. I'm a little bit hesitant to ask for that. I'd rather we just take our measurements.
Yeah.
To be fair, I
We-
think most
we-
modern smartphones can do reasonably accurate measurements,
Yeah.
so we can probably just do it ourselves without.
There is a hardware store in the supermarket, so we would have that.
We could get a automatic vacuum cleaner to generate the floor plan.
No, but I mean, you presumably, as long as we have a reference object that we know the precise dimensions
True,
of,
yeah.
everything else
Yeah,
could technically
yeah.
be reconstructed based on.
That dark.
That
Yeah.
dartboard.
Yeah.
I was more thinking about something that is properly like
Stable. Yeah.
like has a pattern on it
knowing-
that you can
knowing-
actually calibrate the camera and
Yeah.
Kapal, you
Things-
will need to walk through the
things-
house with this milk carton and so on.
things like that. But I mean, just you can do essentially volumetric reconstruction just based on all these images.
Yeah. No. It's just about like if you want to make it useful, it's a data set. It's
Yes.
also
The
good to
more
have a
stuff you
ground
have, the
truth,
better.
yeah.
Right. Okay, so do you have a plan for thinking about this, and tomorrow we kind of finalize what that looks like?
Yeah. And I guess for the hackathon we discussed a bunch of things that would be interesting, so it might be good. I don't have the agenda we came up with on the top of my head,
I'm just trying to find a list of tasks.
but
everybody gets them.
it might
on
be
the
good
fridge, Karel.
if everybody also thinks about.
You have the summary up first day? Something?
What do you mean?
Like
The video.
video or something?
Yeah, I have some metadata
You have the big thing
of
on,
the
yeah,
video
this is different, this is different.
that
Should we have a,
I'll come to some of the results from yesterday a
Okay.
bit.
No, take it.
should we have a viewing of some of the data from yesterday?
Viewing on the day you
Viewing probably not.
Of the funniest things that happened yesterday.
I don't have that technology.
Okay, before we get up, I want to draw the list of tasks that everybody should be kind of doing. in
Not
the
really.
course of this time, right?
But I've always
So
very
we
high.
have cooking,
Always.
we know that already.
Since years.
Yeah.
Since many
Everybody's
years.
cooking something. Everybody's cleaning after cooking, right?
I think we ate already now.
Everybody should be doing the reading experiment. All along we'll chase you
I have
down.
very high pulse rate always.
Can you try that if it makes a difference?
Again, chase with
Let's
the
not
pen.
all do the reading experiments on Friday afternoon. Right?
No, no.
It's not the most fun
Try to
element,
get
but
as
How
many
long
people
is
as you can today.
20 minutes.
9 minutes.
Yes.
20 minutes reading, you said. 20 minutes.
Read
Okay.
Yeah.
a book. Alright?
Allowed?
Okay.
I was doing reading aloud.
Yeah, but it should
Can-
be the guidelines.
So how can you do that?
I want us to read aloud.
Because when I was working, you see, it was
doesn't
kind of
matter.
Oh,
funny at
but
some
how
point.
can I get to
I'm just
there?
thinking, what's the
But it
benefit
might
of
be-
reading it? Read aloud.
Uh-huh.
Why not? It's extra data.
Yeah, but it didn't get as high as
Not
when
just doing
when I
it.
was cooking
Yes.
and so on.
Very
Left
weird,
and
read
right,
out
at
loud.
some point it
Like when I was doing
Imagine you have a kid there.
probably when you're working. And
But this is only from today.
No, but then we read it in a minute.
Yeah.
because I
The thing is,
Yeah, we've already done the Christmas
immediately
tree.
made how many steps did you make today? Because you went to store and I
So-
made 2,000.
Everybody should at least try to make noise on the guitar.
See what
right?
is-
No, it's
Alright.
Noise on guitar. I won't call it music.
it's enough. Wait.
3,000.
Maybe
Yeah.
even more.
Yes.
Because you went to store.
Yes.
No, no, okay.
I made
I need
two.
some chords.
It's very amazing.
Yeah.
I already
We're getting
2.2
the
and I
third
didn't move from
laptop.
home.
Yes.
But I, you know,
Yeah,
I
you know,
will
put
set
a-
up that device
One
later.
of the
today.
helpers can do it, right? Just need to.
No, we can do. This is a task. We can do that. I will set this
That's all.
machine up later today
Okay, so this is
With
reading
chords.
music.
That's all.
We will
with chords,
I
guitar chords.
with Ubuntu, and then you can do whatever you want.
Good.
Install,
That's good.
install MIDI software.
It directly boots into some MIDI thing.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do laundry, so I'm doing laundry and somebody else will do laundry.
Yes. Install some musical qualifications.
Train.
Games?
Okay, so games. And games will be multiple. We have wooden block game.
Oh yeah, that's what we
Excuse me,
did.
wooden block tower game.
Wooden block.
Well,
Tower.
depends on if it's tower game or
That's-
just blocks.
Well, there's a tower in there right now, and it's very impressive that it's still standing.
Yes.
Um,
But the question is, how many blocks can you pull down of that tower before it collapses?
It looks like one.
One.
Yeah, exactly. No, it looks like zero, right?
Yeah, yes,
Before it collapses.
You might be able to
The
take
top.
the topmost
Yes, maybe.
game.
but
But aside that,
Yeah.
Buckaroo.
what?
Chess.
Buckaroo game.
Buckaroo, what's the Buckaroo game?
It's in there. It's
Chess,
the one where
connect
you
four.
put the
You
things
guys
on the
don't
put it
camera.
up.
Or is he
Shows
just
it
ignoring
off.
you?
Shows it
Oh.
off.
Poker.
Poker. Proper poker.
What is proper
Proper
poker?
poker.
Dublin rules.
And chess.
That's gone
four.
solid.
We'll get everybody in.
Or?
Everything's in on the table, yeah? Chess? Connect four.
I didn't play chess since elementary school.
We
Is it
should
gonna be
have-
funny if
the
I
rules
play
are
it?
still the same. Dark.
Stefan, play against me, same for me.
I'm not joking.
Finally, you're worthy of holding somebody who plays at my level.
That's gonna be hilarious,
That you
eh?
have here.
Drafts. You take the Connect four.
Inventing
it's an
rules.
easy-
Yeah.
Googling rules.
It's an easy game.
That machine is
People will be
needed.
feeling like
Checkers?
Okay, drawing.
I think it's similar.
We need a chess program.
It's similar to check.
Suggest
it's
the
similar to
next
I mean, we
check.
can play
Paper
checkers
planes.
with
Writing.
Connect
Yeah.
Four.
Drawing with
Yeah.
what you don't have pencils. you
It's
don't
unfair
have-
advantage. Whoever first opens a web page with some
Oh, you didn't get
basic
anything, that's
tactics
why I
is
had to
probably
pay
gonna be
off
the best.
your-
What?
She painted a picture with enamel paint to use for
Yes, but this is much nicer because the others are
crude.
Origami.
Origami.
Paper
plane.
By the end
Can
of the day, I was so
Yes,
tired
you-
yesterday. I couldn't
well,
add up
you have-
numbers
you have
actually.
colors.
Yeah, it is hard to remember them.
No, not only that.
Oh, you
but
mean
it was
even
so
add up,
tired,
okay,
At the
yeah.
end of the day, you remember? Like,
Is
No,
that
it was tiring,
This is-
yes.
Pieces?
Can you hand me
Quizzes.
the orange? Choose orange.
I mean, these
No.
are also just like
Thank you.
I have somebody
But I
handing
also
out
need the
pieces
pack
this week.
because I would
okay,
like
okay.
to take a
Very
picture.
welcome.
See.
The reading task.
Reading task. Somebody please read News PhD. The happy quiz. Anything else?
I think that's it.
I think that's enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 20.
Teach somebody a card game.
Teach.
Well,
Yeah.
Uno.
Yes.
I wanna learn poker.
Do you want?
Because
Orange.
I haven't played that one since.
But don't learn from her. She will take all your money while you're learning.
Dublin rules.
I wanna learn
No,
only
but
poker.
definitely, if you have a thing
I
that
will
you
show
can
you.
teach other
Okay.
people, that would be
It's
very
much less
interesting.
complicated.
So I call
What do you mean much less
Klaus
complicated? How much less complicated?
When you get all your cards,
Yeah.
you're allowed to change one. You go. So
Okay.
5 cards. Oh, I want to go to this one. Take another card. Thank you. Show your cards.
Until you have a
Oh.
That's not
That is-
poker.
It's poker. It's proper.
No.
It's a version of poker, yes.
Okay, and how many rounds of betting are there?
What's the rule? What's the
You
rule?
just keep going until you finish.
So,
No.
do you know
Like,
the normal rule?
Yes, you
of
still bet
poker?
with chips, right?
Yes.
I used to know.
But like,
I don't know.
so you
I
get
will
your
raise
cards.
you 50.
Haven't played it
Yeah,
in
no, no.
And you'll match me.
ages.
So
Just
you
how
try
raise
to
me,
get
however
some
many
patterns.
rounds
Okay.
until
Okay.
it's
So you try to
taken.
get some patterns
But it should
out
be
of
around
5
before you
cards.
switch your
Oh
card.
For
yeah,
example,
no,
like-
no, no,
Yes,
pairs and
yes,
three
Yeah,
links
yeah.
and
But
poker.
his version is that you get 5 cards at once.
But
Their
you have a round
version
of
is
betting
that you
before
have
switch
2 cards
and then
on your
after?
own and 3
No, we know we
and
do after.
the
We
other
do it- we do it- we do
5
both,
cards
right?
So
on the
we weren't
table.
taking with
Yeah.
your card.
I think I was playing
That's-
that one.
Okay.
Texas Hold'em. Texas Hold'em
No,
poker.
but the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
is that the sets
Look.
that
We
you
play proper
bought.
poker. You play
Yes.
some
This is Texas Hold'em is much better.
The
I
sets
can play it as well.
on the sets,
Yeah.
there were slots for the cards, so
Okay.
they were playing according to the
We'll play
sets.
snap.
Snap.
What is snap?
Whoever gets a matching card. Snap.
Ah, yes.
It's actually good fun.
Hey, so that double poker.
We'll do Dublin poker.
Yeah.
On, you're in.
Sure.
Dublin rules.
Sure.
Very good. So basically,
let me
it's
say
one off. You get a
poker-
card, so you
proper
can
poker is already in there,
get new
Proper
dealt.
poker.
We show it. We play proper poker.
Yes.
But that means your credit card is out.
What?
Your credit card goes on the
I don't have it. The wallets and everything.
Yeah,
On the
that's
fridge.
proper.
Right? One thing, not everybody can actually do laundry, but everybody can do cleaning.
Yeah.
Sweep
Yeah.
your house.
Everybody is expected to clean up after 2 meals, right? Over the course.
Okay.
That's reasonable.
I can do cleaning now. I didn't do
You're
cleaning.
cooking? No, you
Yeah,
cook.
you're
No,
cooking.
you're
Yeah, you
the
cook to
chef.
clean.
You're the
sinks,
breakfast chef every
sides.
day apparently now, so.
Self-appointed. Plus helping with lunches.
So who was
Did
lunch?
you get the rolling pin when you were shopping?
We didn't, but we got a very tightly wound aluminium foil.
I was kind of afraid that you would say that, but okay. We can
No,
make
it was
that.
the
We can-
cheapest one, so it was really small. It's perfect.
Yeah, I
we
saw
can
that.
make, we
Yeah,
can make that
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you stop?
We that was a decision taken. Yeah.
Well, he-
That's the wrong decision taken.
A decision taken by people.
The other option was we went to Galway and we're still on the way back now.
So I'm self-appointed.
There was no
Okay, actually, let me
order
bring
it
this
from
to
Amazon
fridge
and fill
because
it right
cheeses
next
go
to
wrong.
Let me first.
There was no
Ah, okay, yeah.
You wanna check me?
No.
We didn't have the cameras on. so
There is no labels on it,
Yeah,
right,
this one
anymore.
is gotten smoked.
Yeah. Because I would like to collect a few.
Vintage cheddar.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
Oh, this one, there is label. I
just
can
me,
show you.
Lynn, and that.
Klaus,
there's also label.
How long will it take?
this one is...
Or somebody else can do it. They can instruct people.
Maybe a bit more because
It would actually be
maybe
much more interesting if it's somebody who has no idea what they're doing.
Right.
And you just have to give instructions.
Cheddar, red, Major North,
You can do it.
Creamery block.
Creamery block.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have plenty of food, right?
This one I make good tasks. I'm not joking.
Yeah, we can all use this for tasks. It's very good. This one is.
Ooh, jeez.
Because it's going to be the day the query's going to
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh, this one smells.
Yeah, but, can I do it afterwards?
Yeah, vintage cheddar.
Not now.
Boker's
No,
vintage
but
cheddar.
you find some volunteers wearing cameras.
Bookers.
Bookers.
Never seen the
Cheddar.
recipe.
Cheddar, very good.
And that's much more interesting.
The important thing is that even the person who suggested the recipe doesn't know what he's doing.
That's even more interesting.
Yeah, I got this already. Yeah.
Very good.
I
Bring
need to
them,
get more
and we have
stuff
this.
this-
pouring.
This
Yeah,
is Gruyere.
That's great. So,
French
you made it
Gruyere. Yes.
No.
No,
So
okay.
nobody
Very good.
made it before because we actually
It's
don't know what
okay.
we're doing.
It's fine. Let's cook the ham as well.
We should,
Oh yeah,
we should bring
what's
this out
the ham
right.
for?
Sandwiches.
Okay, you can do
get
that
out?
as a backup.
Sorry.
For the trip.
So it doesn't go down.
Okay, great job. Okay, so who are the two people who are doing the cleaning?
I can do it.
Lovely, you're two people. I'll go back to the laundry. I want to quickly
Jesus to the fridge. So
Yes.
As a second, because laundry is of cameras, right?
So,
that
No,
this
outside
is
camera.
so.
You don't have the camera there. Oh, I'm going to be the second camera.
ah. Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
This is a cup of egg standing here.
I'm not sure if someone needs it for baking still.
Ah, very good. This is egg yolk from pig
Yeah, sure. But they should
No, that is weaker. Not below the sequence. This is the sequence of every single car. You can let the roll it again. So if you have three continuous numbers, three pairs, but continuous, like
Right.
8, 9, 10,
We care.
But pairs are bigger than sequence?
No, when you go for one car,
Right.
then three pairs in a row can fit. Whatever number. Three up a tie, running only three up a tie. So let's say if I go for three number 6, we multiply 3 to 7 from 8, this time up. Then there is another thing that I must be in the sequence to play this. So let's say if I go for, let's play illegal, let's play 8, 9,
Yeah.
and then I skip it.
Okay.
I cannot join anymore to if you have 4 bands in a row, you can join no matter where you want.
4 pairs in a row?
Yeah, let's say 7, 9, 10, 7.
Okay.
Then you can skip it. Now what I do,
Okay.
you can do nowhere.
Okay.
All can also bid over that. So for I can bid any number of cars.
Okay.
I'm not bidding they are to
Right.
that will be very high. But all way in a row can bid also up there.
Okay.
Only one. Only for all ways in a row. And mainly that is the most complicated thing.
Okay.
Then we play to every single number we play.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes.
Because the score is complicated.
Right.
So this is 1 point. If you lost one, you lost 1 point. If you win again, you can remember 2 or 3 points depends on how we decide the rule. But if you lost one black suits,
Okay.
you lose 1 point. If you
Yeah,
lost one
question.
red suit,